is Petra. Is it Rakia?
Petra.
Petra.
Yeah.
Rakia. Okay. All right. Words to describe you are determined and committed and sticking with it, even when it's chaos and stormy out.
Can you hear me well? Yeah. All right. Funny how as soon as you get up here, you feel like you have to go pee. All right. So, I just feel so blessed right now to be here, and I feel like my heart is wide open right now. So, all right. So I was born in 1982 to parents Miloš Hajski and Tammy Newman, and out of 4 siblings, I am the lucky number 2. So my parents named me Petra, which means rock. And my mom used to say that it was the perfect name for me because I was strong and resilient like a rock. And my dad used to call me Pina because I was so small. I come from a family that values hard work, adventure, creativity, and independence. My dad, as the youngest, moved from Czechoslovakia right after high school, and he emigrated to Canada. We first stopped in Quebec, where he had a son who he never fathered. He speaks of his childhood as being free and loving, and moving to Canada was just the start of many adventures in his life. My mom was born and raised in Vancouver to a German father and Ukrainian mother, and she said that she was often depressed growing up, and she couldn't wait to move out after school. She met my dad when she went to work for him in the thick wild forests of the BC coast, where my dad had a shake mill. My mom found freedom and adventure with my dad that was missing in her life, and in return she offered love and acceptance, and she cheered him on in all of his endeavors. My parents shared a passion for the outdoors and nature, and up until they started a family, they lived in the remote forests of BC together. Sometimes just the 2 of them alone. My mom nearly died during childbirth with my older sister Lenka, to which my dad responded with moving his new family closer to civilization. That being said, we still lived in fairly remote areas and smaller communities on the West Coast during the first 10 years of my childhood. We had very few close relationships and no extended family close by for support. When a friendship was made and it was cherished and the relationship well maintained until we moved again, which happened usually once a year, to the point that it became a theme of our life. My parents always worked really hard, always self-employed, fishing or clam digging, and often had to bring us with them, which created anxiety and stress. The emphasis was always on survival and constantly looking for work. When I was 10 years old, we moved to Europe and had a much different experience, full of culture and opportunities. I felt frustrated and awkward learning a new language and not being able to communicate fully while going to school and making new friends. But I was a quick learner, and I soon surpassed most of my peers, even in their native language. We moved back and forth a lot between the Czech Republic and Slovakia and met a lot of people. The constant moving and leaving relationships and friendships behind meant that we spent a lot of time together in our family unit. We had to learn really quickly how to forgive and resolve to maintain harmony, and we had to work together as a team to get things done. It also didn't leave much room to be able to reflect on things outside of the family and come back with a fresh perspective. One of my favorite memories as a child is that almost every weekend we would go on a little adventure in our van that my dad fixed up with a bed in the back. And we would travel around Europe and sightsee and visit new places or hike in nature. That was a lot of fun, and I really valued our family time together. I felt loved and safe. I learned that life is an adventure and full of opportunities. I moved back to Canada when I was almost 17. I left home and quit school to go work with my sister, and during that time my parents separated. It all happened really quickly, and it became a devastating time in my life. I realized that I really valued family, and that was a big part of that. I became depressed, I stopped doing all the things I enjoyed, and I struggled finding my way in the world as a becoming woman. I noticed quite early on that we live in a world dominated by men. I believe that men are powerful and successful, and they can do as they wish. I felt that women were caretakers and supporters. As a woman looking for a role model growing up, I looked to the men in the family for a sense of identity, and to the women for acceptance and vulnerability. It was not acceptable to get attention by flaunting my beauty or sexuality, but by being smart, knowledgeable, helpful, and obedient. Relationships were hard work, and you do whatever you can to make it work. However, most of the time, they didn't last. I was taught to be grateful for what I have. Growing up, I became shy and unsure of myself, mostly around strangers. I thought I had to prove myself to others to be someone and to be seen. To stay safe from judgment or disapproval, I kept quiet and small and didn't take many risks or do anything too bold or daring. I pleased others by doing what they asked, and I became alert and attentive to others' needs and paid great attention to detail so I could look for ways to do more than that to gain acceptance and love. I became emotional and sensitive and used it as a way to get what I wanted from others, like more love and attention. This has kept me from following my own passion and left me feeling like I never really get what I want out of life, and that often led to resentment. It has also given me the ability to care for one another and pay attention to others' needs. I loved to read and excelled in school. I loved trying new things, and the more variety in my life, the better. I was always naturally curious and inquisitive and interested in many different topics. I wanted to try everything in life, and everything that I tried I became good at, whether it was sports, music, studies, or even helping around the house. In my soul, I believed that I could do anything I wanted to. The only thing I felt stopping me were resources like money and time and location, responsibilities and sport. And so I often gave up on a lot of my dreams and later realized that it was also because I didn't feel worthy of achieving what I wanted in life. I worried a lot, and though I always had hope that everything would be okay, I often didn't trust the process. Living in this fear has kept me from being present and happy and experiencing real joy in my life. As a middle child, I became an excellent referee, and I could always see both sides of the coin. Consequently, I also liked to communicate, and I made friends fairly easily. I could get along with anyone. However, I also struggled with a sense of who I was in the world, and I often felt misunderstood and alone and like I never really belonged anywhere. This belief actually led me on a spiritual search for a sense of purpose and belonging. I studied many different faiths over the years, and I've always had a deep sense of connection to the divine. I have learned over the last few years that the choices I have made in my life are largely based on these beliefs that I've carried from my past. I would like to take ownership here and recognize that my beliefs are my choice. I want to apologize to all those that I may have hurt in the past, either directly or indirectly, as a result of my behaviors. I want to apologize to my sisters and brother for competing with you for mom and dad's attention when there was always enough love for all of us. I have been blessed to be your blood sister, and we have spent many great times together. And I love you. I want to apologize to my two beautiful children, Jessie and Kaylee, over there, for getting sidetracked in my relationships. And I haven't always given you the full love and attention that you deserved. I also want to apologize to myself and the world for selling myself short and for keeping myself and my gifts hidden for so long. Because I am important, and I belong here, and I have a place and a purpose. I am making a declaration here today that I stand for equality, peace, and love in the world. I have a responsibility in doing my part in God's plan and living on purpose, by remembering that I'm teaching in every moment and to choose love over fear. I will demonstrate this by continuing to practice the daily exercises in Course in Miracles, which I have really love, and by sharing what I've learned with the world. I stand for joy and passion. I acknowledge that I'm responsible for creating my own experience. That includes taking care of myself and loving myself, exploring my gifts and sharing them with others. A step that I would like to take here is to do the things that bring me joy, like playing music with others and connecting with people through various groups and venues and stuff like that. So I like people. I will continue to explore and learn about myself and the world and feed my adventurous spirit by taking risks and having fun. I will also honor my role as a mother and take some time every day to play with my kids. I stand for forgiveness, acceptance, and connection. That means having open, honest communication, setting clear boundaries, and taking responsibility for my feelings. When I feel triggered, I can do a 4-step or I can clear it with a friend. I believe at our core that we're all innocent, and I will continue to practice that by staying curious and asking for clarity. To strengthen my belief that I belong here and I'm worthy of friendship and beautiful, loving relations, I'll reach out to a friend or a family member at least once a week and stay connected. I will share openly and vulnerably about myself and listen with an open heart. I can do these things because I am open-minded, adventurous, and I'm excited about life. I love to learn, and I'm curious and inquisitive. I'm thoughtful, and I care about how my actions affect others, the world, and myself. I'm compassionate and accepting. I am passionate about community and togetherness. I am trustworthy, and I can be counted on to follow through. And probably the biggest one for me is I'm sensitive and I'm intuitive and I'm capable of big feelings, which also allows me to love big. My purpose in the world is to create balance simply and courageously through trust, love, and joy. For those who couldn't make it here today, my dad Milosh, my sister Tamara, my brother Milan, I will be either sending this constitution in writing or I will read it to you in person, preferably.
Or I'll send you a copy of the video.
That too. To my children, Jesse and Kaylee, I love you and I'm grateful every day that I get to see you grow up beside me. I want you to know that I will always be here to support you, guide you, and love you no matter what. To my siblings, Lenka, Tamara, and Milan, thank you for being my biggest fans and supporters, and for being there for me through every step of the way. I've spent many years alone, living away from family, as a single mom, and I always cherish the times that we spend together. I would like to ask for your help as I step closer to into a relationship with you. And this will include me asking for help at times and continuing to be honest with you about patterns that keep me stuck. You have known me the longest and we grew up together and I'm grateful to be able to reflect with you. Mom and Dad, thank you for loving me and for giving me such a great head start in life. I miss spending time with you and would like to be in touch more often. I realize that we've gotten into a habit of not speaking on a regular basis, and I would like to ask for help with this, please, because I often need reminding that it's really important to me. With that, I'd like to close and say that I am proud to have spent 3 years in Prague discovering and learning about myself and where I've come from. It's been a journey full of challenges and miracles, and one that I will never forget.
Petra's family, can you stand and be acknowledged and say hi? Okay, our next graduate